One of the secrets in being a great real estate agent is to think about the 3 critical risk areas and then reduce the risk. Now, what we do is we think about it. On Monday, buyers is going to be the number 1 risk area. So if you think about all the buyers that you've met in the course of the last 7 days, are there any buyers that have moved from the buyer category that should now be in our buyer hit list category? Think about people that have made offers, come back for second appointments, bid at auction, sold last weekend, need to buy by a certain date, because that group of buyers should be absolutely paramount. That then allows you to go through previous market appraisals, past clients, anyone that you know that owns a property of a similar type, and then get on the phone and to ring them about the buyers that you now have. And this is the best and most important conversation because your buyer work will go to drive your strategic approach when it comes to listing and generating leads. If you think about it, great buyer work then allows you to be phenomenal inside of the listing presentation because you can go to show the owner the 1, 2, or 3 buyers that you know right now that have a high level of urgency. That's Mondays. On Tuesdays, we now go through a list of all of your potential sellers and market appraisals. Now, not all potential sellers and market appraisals are the same, and there are people that have got a much higher level of urgency. What I want you to consider is that out of all of the people that you've been to go and see, which is the interesting one that's got most urgency about it? Now, let's say, for example, that I'm going to give you 1 of 2 listing presentations to go to. This person over here is downsizing. They might be selling today or sometime over the course of the next 25 years. And this person over here needs to sell because they've got a job relocation. Every real estate agent that I work with says, you know what, Josh, I'd choose the job relocation every day of the week. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't go to the downsizer, but when you do go to the downsizer, you've now got to be in a position that you start to go through the types of things that downsizers actually have questions about. Would we sell with a long settlement? Would we sell with a leaseback in play? Would we just sell and move at a certain price point? This is so critically important because it turns out that the problem of the client will determine their speed to market. So who's having a baby? Who's got a job relocation? Who's in a divorce? Which is a deceased estate? Learn how to go to really work the problems of the clients. That's what Tuesday is all about. Then when it comes to Wednesday, we move to our 3rd and final risk area, and that's all of our current listings right now. Which of our listings are red light? They're just not going to sell. We need to go and get it ultimately reset and to get that campaign back on track. And which of our listings are green light that look like they're on track and ultimately ready to be sold? Now more than ever before, your job is to think about the meeting agendas and what you have on a Monday with buyers, Tuesdays with sellers, and Wednesdays with review of our current listings to make sure that we get them sold. If you manage the risk areas, you manage the business. And every single time a market changes, it's because you haven't taken care of either the buyer work, the seller work, or actually getting your listings into the saleable zone. Do that well, and you'll have a phenomenal business.